What are the top 4 absolute best, highest dollar, most featured, highest quality radios in the ham radio world today? These are my 4 picks, my top 4 radios that do all of the things inside of ham radio. Let's talk about it. I get this question often about most of these radios. Most of these radios, I get the question about, compare this one to that one. What is the best one here? What's the best one here? This is not a list of inexpensive radios. I did a top 5 or 7 radios under $150 just a little bit ago, and probably got a couple more lists like that coming out, but this is not that list. This is the top of the line list. What is the absolute drop-dead best radio from all the good manufacturers? Maybe I'll do one for all the other manufacturers as well. Anyway, side note, because I think about stuff like that. All right. This is the best list of everything that we have in the ham radio world today at the time of this recording. These are my 4 radios right here. And I get asked about the comparison between these two and comparison between these two often, because this guy is the newest out of all 4 of these. This one is the newest. This one's probably the oldest, but it'll do a few things that these others won't do. So we're going to talk about all of these today. Number 1, this first one on the left here is the Icom ID-52. Now, this is the anniversary edition. The anniversary edition has the original Icom ID-52A that came out, I think, maybe a couple of years ago. Had a micro USB charger on it, so it was slow charging. And then the ID-50 came out. I've done a little bit of research, but I haven't been able to find very much. In fact, that might be an AI question. Because I asked AI about these 4 radios here. I said, comparison of handheld ham radios, the Icom ID-52A, the Kenwood TH-D75, the Yaesu FT5, and the Anytone. And I like most of what this had to say. Okay, here's a comparison table. We're going to read through that here in just a minute, okay? But this one is USB-C chargeable because it's the anniversary edition. It's also gray, where the other ones are black. The ID-50 is also USB-C chargeable, and it's about $100, maybe $125 cheaper. The prices kind of fluctuate, especially depending on where you're buying it from. And I don't know why. Originally, I thought the ID-50 didn't have D-Star, but it does have D-Star. The ID-50 has D-Star. So do you actually need this to get the Icom quality? Probably not. You could probably get most everything we're going to talk about today with the Icom from the ID-50, and I'm not 100% sure what the difference between those two are. The second radio we're going to talk about today is the Yaesu FT5D. Now, out of all of these radios, I've had the Anytone longer, but I've had the FT5 almost as long, not quite as long as the Anytone. So we're going to talk about that here in a second. So the FT5 is great because it has a touchscreen. Out of all the radios we talk about today, the FT5 is the only one with a touchscreen. Some people like that, some people don't like it, so you decide for yourself what you want to do with that. But it does have a touchscreen that you can switch back and forth. You can short press the power button, will lock and unlock the touchscreen like that. Change the mode. FM. Oh yeah, we're on 146.45 Fusion. Now FM. And the FT5 has APRS. Full APRS, transmitting, beaconing, messaging. The FT5 does have a QWERTY keyboard, but the menu system is a little odd as far as getting the APRS functionality to work. We're going to talk about the Kenwood APRS functionality here in a second. But unlike the Icom, the FT5 has full APRS capabilities. It does not have an open TNC, but it has full APRS capabilities with beaconing, smart beaconing, transmit, receive, messaging. It also, the one that I have comes with this, it doesn't come with it. The one that I have has this W0AZ battery on it. And so I've got a 5 amp hour battery that's USB-C rechargeable on this radio. And it makes that radio last a really long time, even if you're beaconing APRS. The Icom has no APRS, and the Yaesu has a full APRS support. Now, this is the most popular question that I get about these radios here. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. In fact, this question is what spawned the idea for this specific video. All of these radios will do analog. Analog, FM, wideband, narrowband, the whole 9 yards on analog. The Icom does D-Star. The Yaesu does Yaesu System Fusion. The Kenwood also does D-Star. Traditionally, D-Star is only owned by Icom, but Kenwood got into the D-Star game with the model previous to this one, the D74. And then the Anytone does DMR. So you've got your 3 top most popular digital voice modes in amateur radio today represented by these 4 radios. These 2 do D-Star, System Fusion, and DMR. I used to get this question quite often, but I haven't heard it in a while. People will ask me, well, which digital mode should I pick? Which one should I pick? And I'd say, pick the one that has the most repeaters near you. There's some areas of the country and the world that are covered up in D-Star repeaters but have no DMR repeaters. There's other areas that are covered up in System Fusion repeaters but no D-Star repeaters. And the list goes on. So it really depends on where you want to talk and how you want to talk. If you get an open spot 3 or later, open spot 3, open spot 4, 4 Pro, or the new mic, it will allow you, well, the open spot 3 and 4, the mic has its own internal system, but the open spots 3 and 4 will allow you to transcode anything to anything. So you'll be able to transcode D-Star to Fusion, Fusion to DMR, DMR to P25, etc., etc., etc. Some other digital modes that are not listed for these radios include NXDN, P25. It seemed like there was another one. I can't remember what it is right now. But those are lesser used. It doesn't mean they're not as good. Those are lesser used in the ham radio community than these top 3 modes are as of today. So that's something to note there. So once again, like I said, when I got the idea for this video, it's because from several different live streams, I was getting asked, what's the difference between the Icom and the Kenwood? The first difference is price. Okay, you can see, and this is the AI table, and this is pretty accurate right here. So you can see the price of the ID-52A is approximately about $600 to $650, while the Kenwood is $750 plus. I believe the Kenwood was like $749 or $769 when it very first came out, which was not too long ago. It was earlier this year in 2025. I don't think it's changed much since then. So out of all 4 radios we're talking about today, the Kenwood is the most expensive. However, it also offers the most features, in my opinion, because the Kenwood does D-Star just like the Icom does, but it is a tri-band radio, so it will do 220. It has full Bluetooth. It has APRS. APRS messaging on the Kenwood is much, much, much easier than the Yaesu. So you can do APRS messaging on both of these radios. You can actually do it over here as well. Talk about that in a second. But the APRS messaging, the menu system, setting up APRS, sending and receiving messages on the Kenwood is far easier than it is on any of the other radios we're talking about today. So that's something to be considered. If you are going to use APRS, if you're going to use 220, the 220 megahertz band for a local repeater, or if you want to use it simplex between you and a few friends and kind of have the band to yourself, the Kenwood is the only one we're going to talk about today that does that. There is a way to hack the Anytone and make it do 220 because it's the mobile version of the Anytone comes 220 natively, but natively this radio does not do 220. There are ways to get around that. Do that if you want to. It might void your warranty, but most people probably don't care about that anyway. So I tell people that if you're, again, this one has a W0AEZ battery on mine too. I did a whole video about that a while back. If you're running APRS and Bluetooth and a bunch of things on the Kenwood with the stock battery, this stock battery will not last all day. The stock battery is the only bottleneck on the Kenwood. The Kenwood battery life is very low, very poor. And with all the features the Kenwood has, it runs down the battery that much quicker than any of the other radios. Even the Yaesu with the stock battery beaking in APRS all day will last longer than the Kenwood with the stock battery beaking in APRS for the same time intervals. For whatever reason, and even though the Yaesu has a bigger screen, the Kenwood still runs its battery down faster. So I got around that issue by getting the W0AEZ 5 amp hour battery. And I don't have that problem anymore. But if you're not interested in 220 and you don't care about APRS as much, the Icom is the better choice because it's cheaper. This radio with the stock battery will last me all day. It doesn't beacon APRS. It does a thing called DPRS. I have no idea about DPRS. I don't know anyone who uses DPRS. I don't know anyone who cares about DPRS. But it does, but that is a feature of the radio. It will do that. So it does have a waterfall scope in it. You can turn it into a dark mode and put a dark mode behind the screen, and it has a few other features like that. But monitoring this radio all day long, I've never killed the battery on it. The battery life is fantastic. And this is a very rugged and durable radio. You can just tell by the way it feels. You can get an Icom extended battery for it also. You can get different size Icom batteries for it. I think they make some aftermarket stuff you can find on Amazon as well. But it's just a dual band radio where the Kenwood's a tri-band. So if you don't care about tri-band and you don't care as much about APRS, but maybe you've got another radio that does APRS, then maybe the Kenwood's not for you, because the Kenwood is a couple $100 more time it's all said and done. By the time you get the extended battery for it and maybe upgrade the antenna for it, which I've done here. I've got the ZBM2 antenna on mine right now. By the time you do all that, you probably have spent, another $100 to $150 on all that. But additionally, now those of you who really do like APRS and do like WinLink and other modes like that, the Kenwood also has a full open KISS TNC. If you don't know what that is, look it up. We'll do another video on that later. Basically, it means you can connect apps like APRS Droid directly, or like WinLink over Android, directly to this radio via Bluetooth, and use WinLink APRS from a much more robust app like APRS Droid, and there's an iPhone equivalent. I don't remember what it's called. Okay, so you can totally do that natively with the Kenwood. You can make that work on any of these radios, even the Kenwood, even the I keep pointing at this and calling it a Kenwood. Even the Icom, you can get like a Mobi-linked Bluetooth TNC and connect it to any radio you want and use APRS Droid. But again, that's an additional expense. You don't need that for the Kenwood. It already has all of that built in. Now with D-Star, DMR, and System Fusion, you can connect. Those are systems that will allow you to connect to the internet and talk to users worldwide. And if you ever join a net, you can use your hotspot and any of these radios to join various digital voice nets that happen every day around the internet. I recommend using ham.live for your next net. Go to ham.live on the website, check into the net. It is a free service that works on all platforms. They are the sponsor of today's video. It allows you to take your net to the next level because it has a little chat box in there. You can chat with other people who are checking into the net or waiting for their turn to check into the net. You can check out the video that I did, the interview that I did with Sean, the creator of Ham.live, on this channel. Thank you, Ham Live, for supporting this video. The Anytone, now this is the radio that I've had for the longest time out of these four radios. The Anytone D878 UV2 Plus is, in my opinion, the top-of-the-line DMR radio in today's world. It will hold about 4,000 channels, okay, in its memory. It will do APRS, full beaconing, full message transmit and receive. It's not as intuitive as the Kenwood or even as the Yaesu. I think even the Yaesu is more intuitive on the APRS, and I think it's a little bit more reliable. I think the Yaesu and the Kenwood both have better receivers than the Anytone does, so they pick up more packets on APRS, but you can totally do full APRS with the latest version of the 878 UV2 Plus. It holds 4,000 channels, like I said a second ago. Most of these other radios only hold 1,000 channels. It's got a much bigger memory. It's got a more colorful screen than these two. It's about the same number of colors as the Kenwood, I'd say, and you can do a few more things on it. And if you're into DMR's used to be the fastest growing digital voice mode in amateur radio. I think they've kind of leveled out these days. I don't know. There's still a lot of people I know that use DMR. But if you're into DMR, you want to use DMR repeaters or DMR hotspot near you, this one is the one that you're going to want to get. I really like all four of these radios. I don't necessarily think I would trade one for the other because they're all so different in their digital mode capabilities. I thought about selling the Yaesu or the Icom when I got the Kenwood because the Kenwood was so expensive, but I like the Yaesu a lot, and I like the fact that it does beaconing APRS. If I go to a Hamfest, I might take this one and put it at the campsite and leave it there plugged into a 12-volt battery and put this one on my belt and carry it around. That way I'm APRS at the campsite and I'm APRS on the go. It's possible I've got too much APRS, but no, I don't really think that's a thing. And I thought about selling the Icom, quite frankly, because the Icom, out of all of these radios, the Icom's the only one that doesn't do APRS. It's just dual band. These three are just dual band. Again, you can hack this one. I don't necessarily recommend that, but you can do it if you want to. But you can hack this one. These two are dual band. This one's a tri-band. So if you consider the fact that if I was to get rid of the Icom right now out of this list, I wouldn't lose anything. Because the Kenwood will do, because all of them do dual band, the Kenwood will do D-Star, and the Kenwood does tri-band. So really the only thing that this one has going for it is the D-Star. There's some guys that are just Icom fanboys out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not selling this radio. I'm not going to sell this radio. I really like this radio. This is the radio that I keep on my bag most of the times. I have an everyday carry backpack that I take with me on trips. I usually have it with me in the truck. This is the radio that I have on the side because I know that if I get this one charged up, it's going to last several days on the battery because I'm not letting it sit. I'm not letting it stay on all the time. So if I'm ever out and about and I just need to grab a radio to do something, this is usually the one I have in my bag so I can grab it, turn it on. It's going to be powered up. If not, I can charge it via USB-C and go from there. The one drawback about the Anytone is that it is not USB-C chargeable, but it does have a USB-C chargeable battery on it, much like the Yaesu. Yaesu's aftermarket. Anytone is a stock battery. Well, I think they're stock now. When I got the Anytone, they didn't have USB-C chargeable batteries, but I think nowadays the stock battery actually is USB-C chargeable. So you can pretty much USB-C charge any of these radios with the external battery, with the aftermarket battery on the Yaesu, or the Yaesu and the Kenwood both also take a direct 12-volt connection, so you can charge them that way as well. So a few differences there, but I think the Icom is probably offers the fewest features out of all of these because it doesn't have APRS, and it has D-Star, which the Kenwood also has. So the D-Star is duplicated, no APRS. If I was to get rid of this and take it out of the picture, I wouldn't really lose anything. But again, I'm not going to do that because I really like that radio. I like how long the battery lasts. I like how loud it is, how great it sounds. It's got fantastic audio, both transmit and receive. So I'm definitely going to keep that one in my stockpile right here. But those are the top 4 radios from Icom, Yaesu, Kenwood, and Anytone. Anytone is the only Chinese radio we talked about today. The other 3 are Japanese radios. So again, I get this question often. I'm like, what would you choose between the Icom and the D75 or the Yaesu and the D75, the Kenwood D75? And a lot of time, and the reason I've been seeing this question a lot lately is because this is the newest radio out of the 4 that I just showed you. This one just came out 2 or 3 months ago at the time of this recording. So it's the newest radio out of all of them. And it's the most expensive one, but it also offers the most features. I think if that Kenwood had DMR instead of D-Star, I might say, you know what? Let's just sell my other stuff and get a couple of those and call it a day because it's tri-band, full Bluetooth, easy APRS, and now it has DMR. But unfortunately, it just has D-Star, which is my least favorite mode, but you guys might like it. Tell me what you think about these. How many of these do you have? Do you have all 4 of these like I do? If I didn't have a YouTube channel, I probably wouldn't own all 4 of these. But which one do you like the best out of all 4 of these and why? Put a comment in the video below. Thanks for watching.